You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/PODKATZ12. Just go to Indeed.com/PODKATZ12 right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're getting into something that's, well, it's really shifted, hasn't it? Cybersecurity.
It really has.
It's gone from being this technical thing to just part of our everyday reality.
Absolutely.
I mean, think of it less like some rare problem and more like maybe driving a car.
Yeah.
But a car where the rules, the road, even how the car works, it's all changing constantly, sometimes, maliciously.
That's a good analogy. It's constant adaptation.
Yeah, it's not just about accepting there's risk. It's about managing that risk continuously in this digital world that just keeps shifting under our feet.
Exactly. Adaptive risk management.
So our mission here is to take your sources and really unpack this intense cybersecurity scene in 2025.
Right.
We'll look at the big stuff, the major breaches you read about, but also those everyday scams, the ones that hit your wallet directly, and what it all means for you. We've gone through a lot of material articles, recent studies, legal cases, even some history, and future trends. It really feels like the first half of 2025 crammed years of development into just a few months. It's been intense.
It certainly has. And, what's really striking about 2025 isn't just that the attacks are getting more complex with AI, which they are.
Okay.
It's the sheer speed, the velocity of weaponization we're seeing.
Velocity of weapons.
Yeah. Basically, advanced tools and techniques are becoming available to attackers faster than companies or even individuals can possibly keep up. It shortens the shelf life of our defenses dramatically.
Right.
Take generative AI. It's not just making phishing emails a bit better. No, it's crafting incredibly convincing deepfakes, advanced voice cloning, things that fool even trained security people.
Yeah.
And it's making data manipulation much easier, much more precise.
So this ties into that idea of democratization of cybercrime.
Exactly that. We're seeing this explosion of subscription models. You've probably heard of ransomware as a service, RAS.
Yeah, I have.
Well, it's not just some basic kit. It's a whole ecosystem. They offer the malware, sure, but also payment systems, even, believe it or not, customer support for the victim.
Customer support, seriously.
It means someone with barely any technical skill can launch a really damaging attack. It just lowers the bar so much.
That's unsettling.
And alongside that, spear phishing is getting hyper-personalized. Really surgical. Right. Meaning attackers aren't just blasting emails out randomly. They're using data that's out there, maybe social media, public records, to craft messages aimed specifically at you, making them incredibly hard to spot.
Okay, so with threats getting faster, easier to access, what does this really mean for us? How do we need to shift our thinking? Is it just accepting this is permanent?
It really is about a fundamental mindset shift, I think. That old feeling of, oh, it won't happen to me, or this stuff's too complicated for me to worry about.
Yeah.
That's just, it's not sustainable anymore. There's still a bit of cultural resistance, maybe, to really accepting this is the new normal. But protecting yourself, it's not optional now. It's like the basic hygiene. It has to be baked into our daily digital routines, like locking your door.
Locking the door, looking both ways, digital prudence.
Exactly. Constant digital hygiene habits.
Okay, let's make this real. Let's talk about a specific big incident. Infobay reported on a major attack targeting Microsoft servers. It hit critical infrastructure in the US and Europe.
Right, I saw that.
Now, it's really important to clarify, this wasn't, World War III against Microsoft Cloud or Office 365.
No, definitely not.
This specific attack went after a vulnerability in on-premise SharePoint servers, the kind companies run themselves, internally.
Correct, on-prem.
And in this flaw, let the attackers get into files and actually take control of the servers.
Yes, and that incident, it's not just about one bug. It really highlights how this permanent state of risk we're talking about. It's often defined by the weakest link, right, in systems we use every day.
So how do they get in?
Well, typically two main ways for something like this. Either what's called an access broker, basically a group that specializes in finding and selling initial access into networks, had already gotten a foothold inside.
Okay.
Or, and this happens a lot, the SharePoint server itself was just improperly exposed to the internet, left open, so to speak. We saw that with WannaCry, remember? It spread so fast because vulnerable machines were directly reachable online.
Right, the patching issue.
Exactly. And in this SharePoint case, the targets were governments, universities, big strategic companies. So the stakes were clearly very high.
And there's a whole industry finding these bugs.
Oh, absolutely. A sophisticated market for finding and selling these vulnerabilities, these 0 days. It's profitable.
So just patching isn't the whole answer.
Not anymore. Reactively patching is crucial, of course, but organizations need more. They need proactive, integral response processes, meaning continuous intelligence gathering, real-time monitoring for weird behavior, automated threat hunting, ways to spot trouble before it becomes a full breach. It takes investment, coordination.
That difference between reacting and being proactive, it sounds critical. It's like you prop open a security door for a minute, maybe for a delivery.
Yeah.
And then just forget to close and lock it properly. You might have alarms, cameras, whatever. But that one temporary lapse becomes a huge vulnerability if you're not constantly checking.
That's a perfect analogy. Continuous monitoring of what's exposed is key because things change. Temporary access becomes permanent if you don't watch it.
Okay, let's shift from those big corporate hits to something more personal. How this hits our wallets. There was a legal case recently, La Voz de Asturias reported it. Unicaja Bank was ordered to give back 18,000 euros to a customer hit by an SMS phishing scam.
Yes, the Unicaja case. Very
It
important.
really shows how these scams directly impact us and also how the law is trying to catch up, right?
It is, and the details are quite clever in a malicious way.
How did it work?
A fake SMS, a phishing message, was somehow slipped into the customer's legitimate SMS thread with their bank. So it looked completely like part of the ongoing conversation.
Oh, wow. That's sneaky.
Very. The customer clicked the link, thought it was legit, entered their login details, and boom, cybercriminals made unauthorized transfers.
So why did the court make the bank pay? Isn't there some user responsibility?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Where does the responsibility lie? User awareness is vital, yes. We all need to be careful. But banks are banks. They're part of the financial sector, a prime target. The court in Oviedo basically said Unicaja had a lack of adequate protection measures.
Okay.
They didn't properly secure their own communication process, which let that fake SMS blend in. The fact that the customer reported it quickly also helped their case, showed they acted responsibly once they realized.
So banks need to do more than just warn us.
Definitely. It's not just about customer warnings anymore. They need to build what you might call office-level sensitivity.
And your own staff need to be sharper.
Exactly. Everyone, not just the IT security folks. They need an intuitive sense of what looks wrong, what's an unusual transaction, what's an odd digital interaction, making people the first line of defense.
Right.
And regulations are pushing this too. Things like DORA, NIS2, PSD2. They're increasingly mandating not just tech security, but staff training, awareness programs, building that internal resilience.
That shift in legal and regulatory view, that's huge. Speaking of shifts and evolution, well, let's jump back in time. Way back. It's kind of amazing, the first computer virus. It's much older than people think.
Oh, yeah, significantly older, predates the modern web by decades.
How old are we talking?
55 years old.
55.
Yep, 1970. It was called Creeper, and it wasn't malicious, not like today's stuff. It was purely academic and experiment.
Creeper, what did it do?
It displayed a message. I'm the creeper. Catch me if you can. More playful than anything.
Ah, okay.
But the core idea, the key characteristic, was self-replication, moving from one computer to another on its own.
Self-replication.
A concept that the mathematician John von Neumann actually theorized about way back in 1945.
Seriously? 1945?
Yeah. Creeper was the first program to actually do it, to demonstrate it was possible on the ARPANET, which was the precursor to the internet.
So it spread, but didn't damage things.
Correct. It just moved around. And amusingly, it quickly got its own antidote.
Antivirus.
The very first one. A program called Reaper was created to hunt down and delete Creeper, the mower chasing the creeper.
Reaper. I like it. Sets the stage, doesn't it?
It really does. You can draw a direct line from Creeper to all the major viruses and worms that followed. the Morse worm in '88.
That one caused chaos.
Big chaos, took down a huge chunk of the early internet. Then later you had I Love You, Sasser, Blaster, and of course WannaCry more recently.
And WannaCry takes us back to that patching issue again.
Exactly. Its huge impact wasn't because it was some super advanced unknown exploit. The patch was out for 3 months. Companies just hadn't applied it.
History repeating itself.
It shows that while the tools change, the basic problems, exploitation, the need for defense, they stay the same. And right now, looking at 2025 and beyond, the biggest challenge, it's clearly AI.
Artificial intelligence.
It's becoming such a powerful attack tool, making scams hyper-personalized, making our digital identities incredibly exposed, really vulnerable to manipulation.
Okay, so history lesson learned, current threats understood. What are the absolute critical prevention steps for our listeners now, beyond the basics?
Right. We need to elevate the game. First, authentication. Seriously. Strong, unique passwords managed by a password manager, absolutely. But crucially, enable robust two-factor authentication.
2FA.
Yes, and preferably hardware-backed 2FA, like a physical key or a dedicated authenticator app. SMS-based 2FA is, well, it's better than nothing, but it's increasingly being bypassed.
Okay, stronger authentication. What else?
Comprehensive real-time protection, not just basic antivirus. You need something that actively fights ransomware, phishing, sophisticated spyware, what we call advanced persistent threats, the stuff that digs in deep.
Right. So it's good talking high-level threats, history, but how do people actually do this? Let's get tangible. You mentioned integrated security platforms. Maybe use something like PandaDome as an example of the tools available.
Sure, yeah. Let's think about everyday situations where these tools become really essential, especially for someone who's trying to be informed and careful.
Great.
Like public Wi-Fi, hotel, cafe, airport. You connect, right. A VPN, a virtual private network, isn't just for privacy anymore.
What's it doing actively?
It creates this encrypted tunnel for all your device's traffic that actively blocks sophisticated eavesdropping, man-in-the-middle attacks where someone tries to intercept your data. Protects you, even if your kid is just watching cartoons on the tablet.
Makes sense. What about something like geolocation? Finding your phone.
Well, yes, finding a lost phone, but think bigger for someone managing maybe work devices or family devices.
Yeah.
It's about quickly locating a misplaced laptop and being able to remotely wipe sensitive data before it's compromised. Speed is critical there.
Got it. Critical data protection.
And here's one feature, often in the premium versions, that is frankly brutal in its effectiveness. Automatic software updates.
For everything. Not just Windows or Mac OS.
Exactly. For all your software, operating system, browsers, plugins, applications, this single feature can prevent maybe up to 60% of attacks.
60%, just from updating.
Yes, because so many attacks exploit known flaws, known backdoors in outdated software. This directly tackles that WannaCry lesson we talked about.
Right. Close the known holes.
And the value is having this all integrated. One platform, easy to manage, doing this vital chore automatically. Otherwise, it's complex, manual, and honestly, easy to forget.
That auto-update feature does sound almost like a magic fix. But for someone who's tech-savvy, are there any downsides, any complexities, even with something so helpful?
That's a really smart question. Yeah, I mean, while it's overwhelmingly positive, very occasionally an automated update could cause a conflict, maybe with some niche software or a custom setup.
Oh.
So a really good security platform won't just push updates blindly. It'll often have features like rollback options or maybe sandboxing to test updates first. It's about managing the whole update lifecycle intelligently.
Okay, that makes sense. Managing the lifecycle.
Yeah.
And this whole idea, moving from lots of separate tools to one integrated platform, it feels like a bigger shift is happening.
It does.
You know, just like we got used to paying for Netflix or cloud storage. I suspect we're going to quickly naturalize paying for really good, comprehensive cybersecurity.
I think you're right.
The risks we've talked about, they're just so common now. The value of, say, solid protection is becoming really obvious.
Undeniable.
Now, slightly different track, but related. There's this fascinating debate in the security world right now. It's about automation versus AI.
Ah, yes, the playbook versus the autonomous agent.
Exactly. Automation relies on set rules, defined playbooks. But then there's the idea of letting AI agents make security decisions on the fly.
Big potential, big risks.
Right. AI agents could react super fast. But what if they're wrong? False positives shutting down legitimate services. Or they get stuck in some weird loop. And apparently, they can be incredibly expensive to run computationally.
All valid concerns. It's a really complex balance. Most experts I talk to think the future is probably somewhere in the middle, a gray area.
Hybrid approach.
Yeah, exactly. Using AI for its speed and analysis, spotting anomalies quickly, but keeping humans in the loop for the critical decisions. Oversight is key.
Makes sense.
But, ultimately, despite all the amazing tech that AI defenses, the weakest link, it's still us. It's still people.
Always comes back to that.
Always.
Yeah.
That's why continuous training, constant awareness, building a real security culture, it's just as vital as the technology, maybe more so. Human vigilance, thinking critically, good digital habits, that's still the ultimate defense.
So this deep dive, it really drives home that digital safety isn't a place you arrive at. It's an ongoing journey, a constant process.
Absolutely. Perpetual.
It's not about being scared, but about being ready, being prepared. We've seen how cybersecurity is permanent, it's always evolving, and it's deeply personal now. Requires that constant vigilance, adapting our strategies.
Well said.
So as you, our listener, take all this in, maybe integrate some of these ideas, here's a thought to leave you with. If AI is making cybercrime easier for more people, could it also eventually make cybersecurity easier? Could it democratize defense so much that good digital hygiene becomes as automatic, as instinctive as putting on your seatbelt? Or will the complexity of the arms race always keep us scrambling?